So hey, in this video, we'll be looking into middlewares as such. So as the word actually says that it comes in the middle of something. I mean, it can be anything, but yeah. So middleware is what how we decide what should be between the request and the response. So we are sending the server some request, maybe some post request or some get request, and the server responds back with the data or maybe an error message, or if the basically it's a promise, right? So it can be resolved, it can be error. So there might be many cases, isn't it? So we are basically saying the server that, okay, this is what I need, and you should be getting. You should be giving me back this, right? And if it's if it's not resolved, then it will throw an error, right? So sometimes we want to basically validate. We want something to be that should be in between the request and the response. So we are sending the request, but for example, we want to authenticate the user that, okay, so if someone is sending the server some request, then maybe I mean, there might be the token should be there, or maybe the token should be like 123, or maybe whatever the token is. So it's not about, not only token, it can be any validation you want. It can be like maybe it can be cookies as such. It can be anything. So, right. So you want something to be in between, like in between the request and the response. It is just like security guard that is actually lies between the request and the response. So response will be only be there if the request actually satisfies the certain conditions, and that's the whole actually idea of the middleware as such. So what the actually the definition says, okay, say it says that middleware functions are the function that have the access to request object and the response object and the next middleware functions in the application request or response cycle. So this is actually a cycle, right? Uh, I mean, we are actually talking to the server that, okay, I am sending you the get request. You will be giving me back the data. I will do a patch request on that. You will update that data. There might be a delete request. I will tell the server that, okay, delete this data. Then server will be deleting that data, right? It's just like a cycle, right? I'm giving back, giving some instruction to the server, and the server is responding back, right? So it is just like a request to response cycle, simple. So the next I will be, next is something different. I will go into that on a later bit. So the next middleware function is commonly denoted by the variable name next. It can be next. So middleware functions can perform the certain task, execute any code, make changes to the request and response objects, because as I've said that there should be a security guard between the request and the response, right? So there might be, we are sending the request and I'm not authenticated, so I shouldn't be like getting the server shouldn't get the response. For him it's server shouldn't get the request, right? Because I'm not authenticated, isn't it? So end the request response cycle. So maybe for example the token is not validated, right? So maybe the login is not right, maybe the sign up is not right. So it should, there might be a security guard that, okay, this security guard will let you know that, okay, the request shouldn't be possible because the user is not authenticated, isn't it? So that's why it will just immediately end the server, end the request, and then throw you a error that, okay, oh, whatever the error is, isn't it? So call the next middleware function in this tag. So maybe for example I am authenticated, or maybe um, I have all the credential that is needed for a successful request. So it will just call the next function, and it will go to the next function as such. It will go to the next route, or maybe whatever you want in the next in the call stack, right? There can be, right, the request I'm sending the server request that, okay, give me the products data. So I am authenticated, then he will respond me back to the data. Respond the data to me, right? So there can be many ways you can actually give the the apply the middleware. So application level, there can be router level. Made a router video yesterday. So that is actually the router level. Whole. So for example, there was a users, right? So you can actually apply the middleware in the whole users. So whatever the post request, whatever the get request, whatever the patch request, all the requests will be needing that middleware. So that is actually known as the route level. So error handling middleware, built-in middleware. There are many built-in middlewares as well. We will look into it at a later part. And third-party middlewares as well. So Express middleware, I think, yeah, Express middleware is also a third-party middleware. So you can also use that. We will look into it at a later place. So I think we should go to the example. We'll go to the example. So this was my yesterday code. What I will do is I will just apply a simple middleware. Maybe mm, though this is just like a use only. You have to use you. There is no separate syntax for it. So maybe for example, I will give maybe prods as such. I will just create a this thing and then request. So now it comes the request handler. So okay, so there will be request and response. You know that okay, request and response will always be there. So for example, my request is successful. Okay, I am authenticated. So I have everything that is needed for the successful request. So we will apply a next as well because it will take three arguments. There also another argument for the error handling as well. So that's not the issue, but yeah. So what actually takes is that this is the use. Okay, so how can I authenticate actually? So I have wrote the next. I have so request and response. We know about the request and response, but what is this next actually? So for example, request is successful, then it will call the next function. That okay, go to the next function and do whatever you want. But if it's not, then just end the response. That's it. Simple. So what I will do is maybe I will just authenticate request dot um, headers where the headers. Okay, headers dot no headers. Okay, token. Yeah, yeah. Request dot headers dot token. Maybe if it's equal to 1 to 3, then okay, why it's headers. Yeah, okay, fine. So if it's headers, then if it's there is the token. If it's there, then just send response dot. Yeah, if it's there, then just give the next. Go to the execute. So uh, you know that okay, JavaScript actually works. Line by line, right? So it actually goes from line 6 to line 7, then isn't it? So for example, if you want to get the home page, so what actually middleware actually does is it will run from the line by line function, right? So if this is already there, this condition actually satisfies, and if it has a next, then only it will go further. Otherwise it will just end the response there. That's it. So let's say the next and yeah, else I will give that response. I'll just end the response. Send 500. Yeah. So prods, yeah, prods and then next. So if it's next, then what I will do is, yeah, next is fine. But let's see. I'll go to prods and the token. I will give 1 to 3. Yeah, 1 to 3. I'll give yeah, it is giving me internal server error. Header. It's header. Yeah, yeah, it is header. Okay. Yeah. It's not response. It is request. Request dot headers. No, it is it headers? That's not else 500. Okay. Let me just see if the response is there. Response.send. Welcome to prods. So if it's there, then token is 1 to 3. Request dot headers. So yeah. So if you see that the token is there and I'm doing a get request, then it will give me the okay, welcome to prods. So let's say we don't have the token, it's a wrong token. So according to the condition we have, or what we have wrote is that, okay, so if it's not there, then just else what I will do is just it will I will just apply some so let's say request dot url dot starts with mm, maybe prods prods, then just go this, yeah, go to this and welcome to prods response.send else uh, next, right? So give me next, yeah. So it's my prods. My first of all, let's say I have the wrong token, it will give me 404 wrong token. If I give the right token, okay, I think I have to end the response. Let's send prods next route, next route. Yeah, okay, I have to end the response, isn't it? I have to, yeah, it is this. So if it's another like, oh, yeah, it will give me phone number, yeah, because there is no. So it actually comes before the response that okay. So it is basically validating my. So let me think about in another example. So I got an example. This was a pretty good example of it, I guess. So so for I mean, for example, I have to go to the home page, right? So I should be authenticated, isn't it? So there's an example, good example here it is giving that. So just use this and give the next. So for example, what I have done is like maybe for example, to get the home page, I'm just authenticating the user. Okay, if the token is there, then only it will go to the lower part. So as I have said, it just acts like a JavaScript only because it is actually JavaScript, right? No, I mean, so what happens is it will execute every code line by line, right? So for example, it goes to the line number 7. It won't go directly. So for example, I'm hitting the home page, right? So homepage, I should be getting this directly, right? The homepage, isn't it? But the thing is, what is the benefit of the middleware is that it actually checks that okay, so if the request dot head is actually, I mean, the if the token is right, if the token is 123, then only it will go to next. So this next, it actually skips the process that okay, now it's go, I mean, it is right, so you can go further and it will you will get the homepage, otherwise you won't. So let's say we have the wrong token, so I have put the maybe 1 1 2 3 4 and I'm hitting the home page, right? So I should be getting the home page, isn't it? I mean, obviously. So if I go and just give it 1 2 3 4, then it will give me a 500 response like internet server error, isn't it? Because I have actually gave it 500. So if I give maybe 401, if I give it 401, then it will give me a 401 response. Okay, 401 does, I think 400 is the, I guess, response 400. Yeah, 400. Okay, right. So bad request because, so let's say I have given the right token. So 123. Now I am hitting the home page, then only it will give it. So it is just acting like a, I mean, security guard, right? So it is getting in between my request, I mean the request and the response. So it is just checking that okay, my token is there or not. If the token is there, then you are good to go. Then you can do whatever you want. But if it's not, it will just end the response with a 400 response, right? So there are many examples. We will look into it. Yeah, this can be this is also a good response. I mean, good example. Like for example, let me copy this. Let's say, yeah, let me just use, maybe I will hit some URL. Okay, fine. I'll just use, right, and then console.log next. Okay, so let's say I'm just filtering this data. Okay, so let's say if if the request dot yeah, header, sorry, I'll just deal with headers. Token is triple equal to 123, then only go to next. So next will be like this one. So we can actually, I mean, give multiple, I mean middleware as such, isn't it? So I have given this was just a single, I mean middleware, but in this case my next will be my line number 23, because for example, if it's else, let me write an else what it will do is it will just end this response dot send with a 500, right? And if it's not, then yeah, then I will just, what I will do is I will just hit the home route only. Okay, and just let me comment out this thing. I will just let me give to the home page. Right. Yeah, so what I'm doing is, so in this case I'm hitting the home URL. So let me just delete this as well. So yeah, so now what I will do for this first middleware, I'm just applying that okay, my token is there or not. But if it's not, I mean if it's not right, then what it will give is it will give me a 500 response, right? And else it will go to next, and it will again I mean verify, again it will do a next. For now I have not, I mean, done any situation for this, I mean checking for this, but you can always, I mean, check it. So now it will go to next, then only it will go to the line number 32, that okay, my home page is ready, you can access it. So let me hit the URL again. 123, yeah, token is 123. Let me hit the URL. Yeah, I'm getting the home page, right? So this, in this way, you can always check, you can give multiple conditions as well, right? So you can also, I mean, maybe body, maybe you can header, you can do whatever you want. I mean header dot, maybe you can do whatever you want, I mean the verification checks, isn't it? So is there any other example? Let's say so yeah, these are the just security checks. You can do a get. Okay, yeah, this thing. You can also, I mean, apply middleware just like this. So let's say I'm just copying this. Copy, paste this, and okay, these are okay. Yeah, these are separate functions. So what I will do, const. Okay, okay. So you can always, I mean, you can actually apply both the middleware. So you can write like const URL equal to, I mean, something. Then you can always apply those in the form of array, and then pass that array in the form of, in your get that particular route. I mean that particular URL, I mean hitting point. So it will always work. So for example, so let's say you have passed the security check of this, and you haven't passed the security check of this, but it will give you a response, I mean error, isn't it? Because this both should be true. This both should be having a true the value, then only you will get the response dot send the user info, right? So there can be router level as well. You can always, so yeah. So let's say in the yesterday video also we have used like users dot get, users dot post, right? So those in the router level you can also provide in the router level as well. So let's say users dot use, right? So here also you can actually put the middleware, and then only you will get the all the responses. So all the responses will be needing this middleware to be passed. Otherwise, nothing will pass, right? So yeah, get and then express route. These are security checks. First dot header. So you can do whatever you want in the if condition, or I mean inside this, but whatever the verification checks you want. Yeah, error handling. Yeah, I told you about the fourth. These are the three. The total of four arguments it actually takes. It takes the error, it takes the request and response that we have been saying, and the next, because we need this to be the, I mean, go to the next line. We are basically checking, I mean, telling the JavaScript that okay, now the condition is fulfilled. Now you can go to the next line and then execute that. So you will say you have read this thing, right? There's a stack. So call the next middleware function in this stack. So because you know about the call stack in the JavaScript, right? So it is just like that. That okay, whatever in the next of the stack, you just execute it and then pop that out from the stack, right? So yeah, I mean, these were all about the middlewares as such. You can do whatever the verification checks you want, but next basically uses, I mean, used to just send that, skip the response. So that okay, you can skip this and you are completely right. You can just skip it and go to your further lines of code. And you can also pass the arrays. You can do whatever you want inside this, I mean the use block. You can apply some other, you can also use the third party middlewares as such. And the express middlewares, there's a called express middlewares and then npm. You can also check that out, but I think I will make a separate video on that. So yeah.